Good morning. So this is our help video for week 3. This week we are wrapping up the first chapter of Arriba, and you'll be taking the test if you haven't already. So what I wanted to talk about real quick this week is just some of the tools that are available for help if you're struggling with the course material. And you've probably already found them, but I know that it's really overwhelming to figure out where everything is the first few weeks of the class. So I wanted to draw your attention to a few of these things that are available to you. First and foremost, I wanted to talk about what you have available for you in Blackboard. I know that there's a lot going on in the class, and there's a lot of materials in both Blackboard and my Spanish lab. I'm sorry, everything loads really slowly when I have the video recording going. But Blackboard is where and I think I've said this before, but Blackboard is where I put all of the materials that I have curated and specifically selected to support you in your learning of the class material. So here in Blackboard, of course, the announcements are, let me turn it on so that it's the view that you'll see. And the announcements, I provide specific information about current materials, assignments, and extra credit opportunities and that kind of thing. Right now I'm going to click into assignments, and this is where I recommend that you start your work every week. I know that it's really tempting since you know that most of the points are usually in my Spanish lab, and that's the thing that's consistent every week. You have my Spanish lab assignments. I know that it's really tempting to just get in there and get started on my Spanish lab and start whittling away at those assignments, and that's not bad. That's not necessarily a wrong way to approach the class, but what I wanted to show you is another way that you might approach it, especially if you're struggling with the material. So if you feel like you're always trying to figure out what they're asking for in my Spanish lab and you're really struggling with the content, you might try switching up your workflow and starting in Blackboard instead. Start with the assignments tab, and of course it's taking forever to load. Let's try it again. When you click into assignments, the most current week will always be at the top. I usually open the next week on Friday, even though it doesn't start until Monday. For those of you that are working primarily over the weekends, if you want to get a jump start on that next week's material, it'll usually be available sometime on Friday for you. Yes, I should have loaded it before I started recording. Okay, let me try something different. Hang on. So I guess I can start talking about it while it's loading. When you do click into the assignments and into the current weekly folder, what you're going to see is resources for every part of the material that we're covering. So I break up the textbook and talk about each section piece by piece. So week 3, the third week of each chapter is a little bit different because it's mostly the culture and review activities. But here it walks you through each of these, and I provide links to the textbook materials and also additional support links that I've provided. So, and then down here at the bottom of each section, I tell you specifically which of my Spanish lab activities pertain to this content. I'm actually going to switch and look at chapter 2 instead, because the first and second weeks, I'm sorry, not chapter, week 2. The first and second weeks of each are where most of the content, most of all of the grammar and vocabulary will be presented. So I want to look at those a little more closely. So looking at week 2 now, you'll see that there'll be a section on the vocabulary, and I tell you specifically which of the textbook pages pertain to the content and which of the my Spanish Lab assignments pertain to it. And then I have additional materials to support your learning as well. So again, if you're struggling with the material, what I would suggest is that you come to Blackboard and read through what I have posted here. I have MP3 files of the vocabulary that you can download and save to your phone and listen to it while you drive or cook or, exercise or whatever you do throughout the week so that you have that frequent repetition of the vocabulary. For the grammar lessons, click ahead a couple lessons, and so I tell you which of the pages of the textbook pertain to it. I have links to tutorials. I'm not going to click on that just because of the load time while this recording is going. But I have those tutorials. The tutorials are really basic, really straightforward, not super exciting, but they are a great second explanation of the material. A complaint that I get every semester is that there are certain people who like the textbook and there are certain people who dislike the textbook intensely and say that they don't learn anything from the textbook. And that's an inherent limitation of textbooks, right? That they present material in one way. If they presented everything in multiple ways, then they'd be 2,000 pages long and completely overwhelming. So instead they present everything in one very straightforward way that doesn't work for every learner. So that's why I provide additional materials here. So if you read the textbook and it doesn't make sense, don't stress over it. Just come to Blackboard and look at the other explanations. So there's the tutorials that are linked that should open in a pop-up window or in a new window. I link to another web page that has another explanation, and then usually have a video as well. Some of them are videos that I've created. Others are videos that I have browsed through everything that's on YouTube, and I've found found a video that most closely represents the way I would explain it and the way I think is helpful for students to have it explained. That explains it in a way that's similar to what will be expected in my Spanish Lab, but that's a little bit different from the way the textbook presents it. So use those to help you to supplement your learning. And some people find other videos as they're looking on YouTube. They find other videos that work better for them, and that's great too. But don't discount the materials that are posted here for you because they have been selected specifically to support your learning in this class. And then down at the bottom, I tell you exactly which of the assignments in my Spanish Lab correspond to this lesson. So again, if you're struggling with the content, come to Blackboard, read the textbook pages for just this section, view as many of the supplemental instructional materials as you need to in order to feel like you have a basic understanding of the material, and then go to my Spanish Lab and just work through those assignments, just 41 through 44 of Chapter 1. And see if that helps if you just break it down and do it one section at a time instead of trying to bite off everything all at once. Then when you are done with that and you've used your 5 tries or however many tries you needed to finish those out, then come back and go on to the next lesson. So you're done with nouns and articles then, ready to move on to adjectives. So then again, you read the textbook pages, view the supplemental materials, and then work through those assignments in my Spanish Lab. So give that a try. I was going to talk about some of the help materials in my Spanish Lab as well, but mostly they're just links to the textbook tutorials. So you can use those, but really if you're struggling with the material, I would recommend using the Blackboard support materials a little bit more. Anyway, sorry for the long video. The load time is killing me with trying to keep these at 5 to 6 minutes, but if you have questions, shoot me an email, and next week we'll be starting on Chapter 2, starting on verb conjugations. So I will make a video earlier in the week, probably next week, to help specifically with verb conjugations and how to manage that new content. So good luck with studying for the test and taking the test. I hope it goes great for everybody, and I'll see you online.